C-130 rolling down the strip. 64 Rangers on a one-way trip. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. What you just heard was the beginning parts of a Jody. What you will hear in basic training. Again, is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you with I'm going to call this Airmen's Time. Not really exactly a Veterans React video. It's just something that I am, that's what's called in basic training, where you get a little bit of time with your TI, known as your training instructor, and you go and say like, okay, ask me questions about the Air Force, ask me questions about your career field, and your TI, your training instructor, you know, that's not the only job that they've ever done. Obviously they have a quick tech school for that, where they have to go and be knowledgeable about mostly everything that they learn. But some of them, were like I was. They were 2T2, air transportation. Some of them were cops, some of them were rangers, some of them were PJs. They cross-trained into, some of them were recruiters before then. Now, some of you guys are probably wondering, okay, well, I'm not in basic training yet. What do I expect coming from my recruiter? What do I expect coming into basic training, before we get to Airmen's Time? It takes a little while to get there. So, your recruiter is going to recruit not based on what you want to do. It's going to be based on the needs of the Air Force. The Air Force is going to have, and again, it's going to be, I'm just speaking for Air Force experience, probably going to be very similar to Army, Marines, that all thing. Based on what they need, like right now, got a lot of Special Forces guys that are really drawn from the bottom of the barrel. They really don't have this, large plethora of people to take from. What they're doing is a lot of America's fat. So if you are in shape and you don't have any crazy allergies, you don't have, and you don't have to go in just to be all patriotic and say like I want to serve. Like me, I joined because I was tired of working 3 jobs. And I was like, okay, you know what, I'm done. For me, Air Force is like, okay, not knowing what I was getting into, easy way out, 1 job. And then, sometimes it's not so easy. But some people, like my TI, my training instructor, Sergeant Lyles, he joined to get out of the house when he was 17. I didn't join until I was 21. But, everyone's there for a different reason. Some because that's what, they're expected to do because that's what their family did. But a lot of times the recruiter, they'll say that what happened to me, so I scored very high in the ASVAB, so scored 90-something on the ASVAB. That's just like kind of the intelligence test that they give you. You can get a 99 max on it. And my recruiter said like, okay, well, listen, you have these jobs that you could choose. You could choose pretty much whatever job you want. And I wanted to do air flight reconnaissance, which is when you go and you find up an aircraft, take pictures of, maybe a terrorist down below, via whatever type of equipment they have. And like, apparently the equipment's clear enough where from there you could read what's on a driver's license. Never done it. It's not my career field. I don't know, but maybe my recruiter was kind of BSing me a little bit, but saying that, yeah, you can pick whatever you want, but there's wait times. A lot of people want to get in, and the wait times were months, like several months. And I was like, is there any, I just want to get in. I just want to, go in as quick as possible. I'm trained. I was always in good shape. I boxed, trained boxing for a while. So basic training was fun, but I had just had a long wait time. And you go into what's called the delayed enlistment program. You go in and you say like, hey, maybe sometimes show up for training. Me, I was working 3 jobs, so I just didn't. They teach you a little bit about what to expect in there. So I was basically going in blind. And what I had to do was I had to basically be on a waiting list. And eventually my recruiter said that, hey, a good way to get off this waiting list and to go in very quickly is to go in not with a job in line, go in what's called open general. Open general, you say like, what he said made sense, that because you have such a high ASVAB score, they're not going to give you a job in which, anyone can do. They're going to give you a job that suits, your intelligence and, your qualifications. It's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yes, sir, thank you. So I did that, got a call a few weeks later saying, hey, got a spot. I was like, okay, when? It's like, tomorrow. And he called me at like 9 at night. I was at my mom's, and it was like December 19th or something, 18th, 17th, whatever. And I was like, hey mom, that was my recruiter. I'm going in the Air Force. Like, what about Christmas? Like, oh my God, mom. But so I go in as open general, and I don't find out until a couple weeks in basic training what my job is. And it's called 2T2 Air Transportation. You know how I got 93 on the ASVAB? Well, for this job, you only need an ASVAB score of 55. I was like, okay, not exactly. And then there's a lot of confusion in basic training where a lot of people say their recruiter said one thing, but nope, this is the job that they're going for. And multiple TIs always, your recruiter lied to you. I don't want to hear it. I want to hear about this BS anymore. Everyone just shut up and do your job. I'm like, okay, well, so just expect that. You know, when you're going in. Again, sometimes you'll have a contract specifically for what you're going in for, but sometimes they'll allow you to get numbers. Just being straight. Basic training. Outside of that, really the first day or so, you know, just in processing, doing all paperwork and stuff. First day I was in there, I got in at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, my jitters are up, my moves are up, so I go in and it's just like, can't really sleep. Didn't really matter. Is it 4, 4:45, whatever it was? You know, here Reveille, we get up and I hadn't eaten in a while, so we go and get, you know, we go and get chow. Sit out with a nice plate of eggs, you know, and toast or whatever, and I'm ready to eat. My TI knew that I had just gotten in. He knew I was off sleep, and as soon as I sit down, he goes, "You're done!" Like, no food for you. And I was like, damn. So I had to go a long time without food for a little while. But that's part of what the training. So I don't know what it's like now, but be told to get on your face. Get on your face. If you mess up and you're gonna mess up, be told to get on your face, saying like, okay, get on your face, doing some push-ups, do some flutter kicks when you're on your back and your feet are going like this, which might sound okay. That's easy. You know, I do abs, not with 5-pound boots. You don't. It's doing that for an hour with squat thrusts and push-ups. It's not fun. You run a lot. You don't work out. You don't go to a gym. You don't like keep your muscle. I lost like 13 pounds throughout basic training. So that's just a lot of what you expect. And they do cater a little bit if you're vegetarian. You know, they have the whole vegetarian thing for you. But for the most part, if you can't stomach what they have, you are just SOL. You cannot. So learn to eat anything. Learn to eat anything that gives you nutrition, because that's your lifeblood. Food is your lifeblood. Food is a currency. Some people that sneak stuff from the DFAC, the dining facility, they have like a power bar, they have whatever. Yeah, food, that's what you're most excited for. And why I'm bringing all that up, what you're seeing me doing here, cracking eggs, is because this is just a lesson that sometimes you're gonna have to eat things that, to quote Rambo here, that would make a billy goat puke. Because that's all that's available, and guess what? You have to do that. So, cheers, mates. Six eggs is good in the morning. Learn to do that. Should be fine in basic training. Any questions down below, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Let me know. I'll try to make another video on it. Hoorah, guys.